Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Good morning. A big welcome to Jason and the Gents, I've named them. Thomas and Spencer, right? Did I get it right?
Spencer and Noah.
Spencer and Noah. You'll have to excuse me. I had it written down and then I ate a mint. And it happened, right? So Spencer and Noah, that's an inside joke. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Granada Hills. Let's do that again. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Granada Hills. It's my honor and privilege to be with you today as your guest minister and speaker. And I want to say hello to not only you, to all of those that are joining us online today, and for those that are part of my community, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, that are feeding through the YouTube, because normally we would have service online, and so we're on there while I'm here. Right? So I'm a little wound up from the first service, from being awake, from some caffeine, maybe some sugar. And so you're either going to be the recipient or the beneficiary of that. So I'm going to go with beneficiary, right? Yeah, that's good. We have Reverend Nancy Woods here ready to light the candles. And how are you all today? How are you all today? There we go. The law of magnetism. The way it works. Well, we're going to begin with a ritual called lighting the flames of faith. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable and safe for you, and to turn inward. And what I mean by that is begin to peer, if you close your eyes, into the back of your eyelids, that place we call the optic screen, and be open to what comes up as you hear us, and feel free to open your eyes if you want as we light these candles, but with the intent and the purpose, with each flicker of the flame, to strengthen your own internal flame. We perform this ceremony, lighting the flames of faith, a call to service, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience. I feel the need to repeat that. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. And so as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, that which is known as the natural way. Continuing on to the second candle, for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle is illuminated for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge action and devotion. Moving on to Judaism, we light that candle, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The next candle is lit for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Moving on to the sixth candle, for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. Moving on to the next candle, which is the seventh candle, Reverend Nancy lights it for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle, for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. Moving on to the next candle, for all forms of New Thought, it's that which we practice in the Centers for Spiritual Living, and the science of mind is considered one of those. And we light it honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light as an acknowledgement and an invitation out of love for those that are yet unaware of the spirit that exists in and as their life, and for the space that we hold right now with purpose and intention for them here at the center. We take all of that and bring it together collectively. And Reverend Nancy lights the last candle, which is the healing candle. And I invite you to put into this light the names or the energies or the memories of anyone that you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love, and I instruct you to include yourself.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
As each one of us recognize that divine presence within, that light within, it is with a consciousness of appreciation and true embracing of the idea that that presence, that all-knowing, all-powerful energy of being is flowing into expression in this experience that we are sharing here today. As we recognize its presence in us, we know that we are open and receptive to allow it to be that which flows from us, through us, and as us. And as we embrace this idea and stand in the consciousness of knowing that the divine creative expression of life is giving us this divine opportunity to open up, to expand, to grow, and to be even more aware, more in expression of this inner truth. And as we know that everything that happens here today, whether it's the greeting, the music, the message, whatever unfolds, expands our inner understanding of who and what we are. So as we step into this experience together, we do it with joy, with true appreciation of being able to share each other's company in this way. And in this unfoldment, the blessings pour forth. So it's with in appreciation, a heartfelt thank you. I embrace this opportunity to know the truth, to know this law of giving and receiving is in full activation right here and right now. So as with love in my heart, I invite each one of you to join me in knowing that this is a divine hour for all of us. And together we acknowledge this divinity as we say, and so it is. Thank you all. And y'all are truly in for a treat with these wonderful musicians. And the animation for Dr. Keith is going to open your heart and your mind also. So we're all in for a divine event in this hour. Yes. So I wanted to share something that one of my favorite people is Rumi. I just love, it just seems like he's on my side. And he helps me in so many different ways. I was reading for him, I was reading him. I'm saying I'm listening to him, but it's like I hear him when I read him. And he was talking about we make growth levels, and then we grow a little bit more, and, we keep expanding. And he was talking about when we find a balance between the masculine and feminine energy in us, that's when we can really soar. And I thought about that, and I said, oh, okay, I can see that. When we invite the truth to come into us, and when we allow ourselves to let that truth flow from us, that's balance, that's harmony, and that's the energy that to me, that's what he was saying. And it was really precious for me because it seems like recently I have found that I'm all right with people being where they are, but I'm truly glad I'm where I am. And so it's like I can love you no matter where it is, or what you're saying, or what you're doing. But it's nice to love yourself. And I'm very happy to be in a philosophy that helps us grow and understand and appreciate the truth of life. And it seems like everything that is happening around me has been pulling me towards the idea of a healing consciousness. And when I was reading that this morning, I realized, okay, am I resisting this healing consciousness? Or am I hesitant to stand on that edge? I'm not sure yet. But one of the things I know is that I felt, okay, it's all right. There's always going to be a living edge for me, because I know the infinity of spirit itself, infiniteness of spirit itself. So I'm on a new edge, and I like it. And I'm excited in which way it's going to guide me as far as this healing consciousness is concerned. To give you the whole story behind it is not what I'm going to do. Ask me sometime when I'm not on stage, because it's a journey. Probably I have burned Reverend Dr. Maureen's ear up about it, but I'm happy that I have all of you, my church, to do this with me. I feel like that I have so much support, so much love, that it's easier to stand on the edge. It's easier to look at something new. And for this event to happen at a time when we shifted experience, because when Reverend Mike leaving, he's the other ear I've been burned up about this. But I have to say that I'm excited because our history has been really good at who we attract. Listen, I've been here 40 years, and you guys, and everybody that comes, it gets better and better and better. So, stick with us. The ride is going to be something else. And thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to welcome Noah on drums and Spencer on saxophone behind me. Let's give him a round of applause. Is working against me. Oh, and gravity, it wants to bring me down. Oh, I'll never know what makes this man with all the love that his heart can stand. Dream of ways to throw it all away. Oh, gravity is working against me. Oh, gravity, it wants to bring me down. Oh, well, twice as much ain't twice as good when you can't sustain like one half could. And wanting more is gonna send me to my knees. just as much, ain't twice as good. When you can't sustain like one half could, it's one more that's gonna send you to my knees. Well, just keep me where the light is. You keep me where the light is. You keep me where the light is. 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 You keep me where the light is. That's Spencer on the saxophone and Noah on the drums.
Awesome, isn't it? Oh, good match. I know y'all must love having him as a teacher. You got to.
Don't ask them that.
Oh, it's good. Very good. Thank you so much. Ooh, I think I'm supposed to be doing some announcements somewhere here. Wow. Oh, if you're looking for a tune-up or to anchor something that is growing or expanding in your life, there are practitioners in this place that would love the opportunity to be a part of that. So if you want a treatment for practitioners, there's a bunch of them. Raise your hands, practitioners. And you want to expand, talk to one of them. Danny is looking, our administrator is looking for you to turn in your tickets for the Tahoe drawing so she can finish that up. So if you got some or you need some more tickets, see Danny or one of us. Also, was that the giving basket? Oh, no, we support our community. So this is for those gifts that you want to donate or share with other people. This is, there's a basket out there for you to participate. Next Wednesday, practitioner Catherine Hack is having a Taizé service. It's nice to come and just be in the harmony together. The energy you leave with is so uplifting. So come and join us, even online, for our Taizé service on Wednesday night. And Chloe, would you bring the gratitude box up for me? Ooh.
This is my river for my flowers.
Friends.
No, for my friends.
Very grateful for my friends. I am too. So, okay. Oh, so now would you stand and say the Declaration of Principles with me? We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all and harmony in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and forces itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon the law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, in the immortality of the individual soul, forever extending. We believe in eternal goodness, your eternal loving kindness, to all.
Yes, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I can see the light. And I'm here in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I let go, I let the Spirit run my life. And I'm free, open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I can see the light. And I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. And I let go. I let Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I can see the light. And I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Yeah, Jason and the Jets. We are. You know, it's okay when those sporadic moments of a symbol happens. It's just, in our teaching, that's just the universe saying, hey, pay attention, that's all. So it's just a confirmation. It's kind of like a telephone going off in the middle of service. Not that I'm inviting that in. I put mine on airplane mode. So, all right. Enjoy your mint tea. So you guys ready to have a little fun? Yeah. Good. Well, I have put together for us an animated slideshow to support my message this morning. And so over here, it may be a little difficult to see. It's going to be harder to see there, Mary, than where you were. But just so let's dive into it, right? So you ready to do that? So let me just say this before, two things I want to address before I dive into it. One is that my community has been screaming at me to teach a new class, which I've said yes to finally. And I'm starting that Wednesday night, not to step on any Taizé service here, but if any of you are interested in that, it's this Wednesday and the following Wednesday at 6:30 online. I created the title and I wrote the curriculum. It's going to be a really good class, and it's titled Living in Crazy Times. Speaks for itself, right? So, I don't know what the second thing was. If you want, many people were trying to photograph these slides. I'm going to suggest, if you want to do it. But a better way to capture them would be go on CSL Granada Hills YouTube page later, and as it's playing, screenshot it off your computer. You know, that way you'll get a good one. Without further ado, let's begin. The month that we are moving in or in right now, which is February. The theme is Embracing the Edge. Today we're going to talk about the edge from the concept of how we change our thinking. The monthly theme is Embracing the Edge, with the weekly topic being titled Walking the Edge of Life. As I shared in the first service, for many years I worked with a coach, which was both a business coach and a spiritual coach. And he would use a book, and the premise of this book for us in our growth patterns was to live on the leading edge, not the bleeding edge. And so today, I know it's funny, but it also, we can put it in perspective, right? Meaning, to interpret that in the moment, what it means to me is to live on the edge of that which is to propel me into an experience and expression of more of that which I innately am, which is peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, and not go to that place that is going to invoke pain, right? So if you go to the bleeding edge, you're probably going to have some pain. If you didn't have the pain, you probably wouldn't have the blood, right? So the blood comes with that, and then that requires healing to take place. Not that we aren't all in a journey of healing, but we want our healing to be one of purpose, of revealing our wholeness, and not righting some wrong. That was brilliant. Okay, let's keep going. So then, if we're here to walk the edge, what's calling you to the edge? Well, I believe what's calling us to the edge is life itself. The great Dr. Ernest Holmes defines life in this context: the animated principle of being, that inner something that makes everything live. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel that inner something. And then begin to feel your awareness of your feeling. And that's really what my goal and objective here is, for us to begin to expand our awareness of our awareness on this journey of life itself, and letting life, the animated principle of being, call us forth into the edge of what that is, meaning we get to know who and what it is more and more and more and more and more through our dancing with the beloved, for lack of a better term. It's important to us to remember this animated principle of being is here happening for us, not to us. It's happening for us. Right, so what does that mean for each of us? Well, it means that at every opportunity we have the ability to think anew. I love this little animated slide that says it's a new day, a new beginning. As I shared in the first service, it reminds me, unintentionally, I had a conversation with our beloved Dr. Maureen Hoyt the other night, and she had said something was a new beginning, and I said to her, well, let's think that through. Could there be an old beginning? Isn't every beginning a new beginning? So, and then of course, I created a slide with that on it in two ways. But what I want us to take away from the concept of it's a time for a new beginning is to remember that we're always imbued with the opportunity to make a choice to think anew. And that the law of life responds to us in the only way that it can, by providing us a corresponding experience. Thus, both in the micro level of moment by moment by moment, of trusting the universe that it's going to provide to each and every one of us what we need to navigate life as it shows up within us, as well as the macro, the developing of a broader, expansive consciousness that reflects our divine nature. And we've heard already what qualities we're imbued with that. What it all comes down to is, are we making good choices? Not good in the sense of good or bad. I put this slide in intentionally to remind us to make good choices, with good being a synonym in our teaching and philosophy for God. In other words, to make choices in our life to know that we are the divine energy itself, which has the qualities we've already addressed, right? And from that perspective, that is how we're navigating, expressing our humanity. And then, with a deep acceptance and faith and trust that it responds the way that it does and provides us life experiences that are reflective of who we know ourselves to be. Exactly what that entire declaration of principle really is all about. Holmes tells us that on this journey of awakening, of healing, of knowing who we all must begin right where we are. Now, most of us will be compelled to begin our healing work, that is the revealing of our wholeness or our awareness of our wholeness, with a mechanical process. But we should take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept of reality. In other words, how can you expand your thinking to know that in this moment, it's through this awareness of who you are as a divine being that you begin to believe that you're more divine than you ever were before, although accepting the spiritual truth that you can never change the quantity of your divinity. You can only experience more of it. And how does one experience more of it? By expressing more of it. That's how one does that. That is an embodiment of the idea in consciousness, what he's telling us to do in the second sentence there. He goes on to say, if one wishes to demonstrate prosperity, I'm assuming we all wish to demonstrate it in a more broad way than ever before, or peace or goodwill or kindness, I inserted they, Ernie didn't write that way, must first have a consciousness of prosperity or peace or goodwill or kindness, etc. He goes on to say, this is more than faith. He's not saying it's in lieu of faith and that we shouldn't have faith. He's saying it's more than faith. It's the knowledge, and I would add, and the acceptance and embodiment that we're dealing with an immutable law. While a certain consciousness may be mechanically induced, spiritual mind treatment, 5 steps, citing them the way they're supposed to. I'm not saying don't do it, but add to that a spontaneous approach to, yes, God is all there is, and hell yes, that's what I am, and I am the consciousness of all the good that exists in the universe. Ain't nobody in here gonna doubt that, because it's my truth, and I know it, and so it is. Spontaneity. He's saying put that into it, play with it, have fun with yourself, uppercase S, on the journey of life itself. And to do that with trust and with faith and with acceptance of the way law works. Spiritual wisdom, that the mechanical laws of nature are set and immutable, but the spontaneous recognition of these laws give us the power to bring them into practical use in everyday life and experience. What good are they if we're not bringing them into everyday practical use? What good are they if we don't stop and think, what did I do to create that in my life? Not punitively, but observationally, so that we can make a different choice. It's really all about the choices that we make and to then have fun with it. You guys are gonna have to move fast on your cameras because here we go. So one of the things that brought me into this teaching was the statement, change your thinking, change your life. Anybody else? I love that statement. But what I think is important for us to remember is that change is always happening in life. And yes, we do change our life by changing our thinking, but change is also the result of our thinking, as evidenced by this slide, where this woman's like, oh, I'm gonna make a change and I'm gonna smell the rose. And then you smell it, it's like, ooh, it stinks. Or like these flowers, like, they don't smell because they're not real. Maybe they should be spritzed with a little Joe Malone. Then you're like, they smell. But what all of that means is that we cannot program how life is going to be experienced. We can't program the results of life. All that we can do is do our best to tend to our consciousness to the best of our abilities so that it may reflect our divine nature, knowing that we live in a universe with immutable laws which will provide to us experiences reflective of where we are currently in our framework of mind, and then make a decision as to how we respond to that when it shows up. It's really what it's all about. Change is happening while we choose to consciously embrace that which is changeless. The infinite nature of life, the animated principle of being, the inner something that makes everything live. And as you and I represent that, embody it, have it, be it, experience it, we're also uniquely unique. We're told here by Alan Watts that every individual is a unique manifestation of the whole, as every branch is a particular outreach of the tree. What is he telling us there? I believe what we're being told here is to make a decision today to quit wasting energy and time, spiritual coin, thoughts, on trying to adapt to the universe around you and be like anyone else, or to give anyone else your power over how you know yourself to be a divine being. Honor your uniqueness, no matter where you're at on the journey of life, and we're all somewhere on the journey of life, but we can make a decision to declare that journey as one of growth. Here we grow again. I had to put this slide in because I love it so very much. And can you see it? It's a butterfly driving a car, been pulled over by an officer. The officer's looking at the driver's license. The picture's different than the butterfly. The butterfly says, that's an old photo because the picture of it is when it was a caterpillar. Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. What's important for us to remember is that is true. Whether you're the caterpillar, whether you're going through metamorphosis, whether you're the butterfly, or the journey is about to continue again. That innate component of who and what you are is that changeless energy that we speak of, and to make a decision today to honor and acknowledge and respect that while we all stay awake and alert to the best of our ability on the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. The vision statement for my community, CSLLA, is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. The thing that's important, as my beloved teacher, Dr. David Walker, used to say in something like this, would be find the salient points. I think the salient points here for us is journey, personal self-empowerment, spiritual awakening. And to invite in spiritual awakenings, meaning a remembrance of who we know ourselves to be in the sea of consciousness of life. And from there, to remember that and to know that its nature is to not fail us. It never has, never will. Quit wasting time and energy on that concept, which will provide a sense of personal self-empowerment, which brings a new consciousness on the journey of life itself, providing for us, if we're willing to open to that as we live on the edge of life itself, the leading edge, opportunities for spiritual awakenings, which then provide for us opportunities to be more personally self-empowered. And it's from there our consciousness shifts, and it's from that shift we draw into our world a deeper, more spiritual awakening, which the law of life responds to, providing opportunities for personal self-empowerment. That is called the journey. We like to look at that, though, as the past and the future, and it is when we process it through human terms of our old life or our new life. But I invite us all to do our best to quit living in the past or futurizing what is to come and to stay present in the moment, to be aware of and tuned into the change, because change is happening and change is happening and change is happening. How do we do that? One of the ways I like to do that is through the lens of a great teacher by the name of Dr. Barbara Marx Hubbard. And her approach to life was to live as a conscious evolutionist. Now let that sink in, to live as a conscious evolutionist. What does that mean? Well, in today's world, there's a great resource of information and wisdom and intellect that I referred to in regards to conscious evolution called AI, and this is what it tells us in regards to that. The path of conscious evolution is about increasing the degree of awareness. Just take a moment and ask yourself, is that a commitment you're willing to make to yourself, to be on a pathway to increase your degree of awareness, to increase the measure of freedom until you're living the enlightened self that you consciously choose to be, rather than the unenlightened self you have unconsciously and habitually identified with your entire life? Now that last part sounds a little intense and a little punitive, but let's take any personal judgments that we have on it and say, is there the possibility in my life that I've lived potentially unconscious and habitually identified with something else that's brought me something other than pleasure or joy? Yeah. Well, today let's let go of that. And how do we do that? The great Barbara Marx Hubbard says to be a conscious evolutionist, I'm going to paraphrase this, it's living through the commitment in life to purposefully engage in life to the best of your ability, revealing and focusing on your essence and not your ego. Worth a right? Your essence and not your ego. What was she telling us there? What she's saying is focus on your peace and your power and your beauty and your joy and your light and your life and your love and your wisdom, and to live from that place to the best of your ability, to give it to the best of your ability, to honor it to the best of your ability. Put your ego at the door, meaning don't give a rat's from what people are saying about you, talking about you, thinking about you, blah, 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 or even that you have about yourself leading up to this moment. Because it's in this moment you have the opportunity to change your thinking and change your life. How do you do that? By focusing on your divine nature. The great Lao Tzu of the Tao Te Ching tells us to remember that life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let them be. Let reality be reality. He goes on to tell us to let things flow naturally forward in a way, in whatever way they like. What he's saying to us there, or the Tao is saying to us there, don't fight the journey of life. Try not to control the outcome. Be conscious and aware of your role in it, and be spontaneous in how you engage in life. And to do so to the best of your ability with an open mind, not a closed mind. Why? Because we all know that a closed mind is like a closed parachute, right? What can we make a commitment to do? In mind, to be open, to be willing, And the most important piece is be ready. Be ready. Be ready for what's coming your way. In our teaching in philosophy and faith and way of life known as the science of mind, we don't say it's coming, we say it's here. And I raise my awareness to the degree that I honor it and acknowledge it and see it when I engage in it. And I like to add to that, and I embrace it, and I hold on to it as long as it is a vibrational fit to me. And the moment it's not, with love and compassion and great intention, I release it and let it go so that I can take the step towards the next edge of life to embrace that which is new. That's really what we're being told here. Be open, be willing, be ready for the good that you desire to experience in life. Because life is forever transforming. Yes, in the outer, that's obvious, right? But it's also transforming in the inner should we desire to tune into transformational life. And we're drawn to that if we come to this teaching. I looked up transformations, which I believe is a synonym for change in so many ways. But I wanted to tune us into looking at the change of life with a different lens today, and to also look at and align with the similarities that come through the language that I've used up until now in the slides and in the definition of transformation. At its most basic foundational level, a transformation is defined as a thorough and dramatic change in form or appearance. The next layer of that is a metamorphosis during the life cycle of an animal. Caterpillar, butterfly, right? But the third, and I believe most important piece of this is the induced or spontaneous change of one element into another by a nuclear process. I'm going to believe in this context that nuclear process is us choosing to change the chemical nature of how we think about life. Are you guys up for that today? To let today be the day to make the decision to transform or not transform? Yes. But how do we do that? The great Marianne Williamson tells us you must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. Well, what new way are we being called to be? To be open, to be willing, and then to be ready. How does that unfold? By choosing to think that that is the journey of ourselves on finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, of being open to what? Spiritual awakenings. To being ready for what? Personal self-empowerment. Be open. And what else is required? The willingness to think anew. Change is happening. It always has, and it always will be. And sometimes along the way it's going to be pretty, and sometimes it's not. I love this animated graphic from the Dalai Lama, I'm going to believe this. He says, "Oh no, grasshopper, this is not what I meant by personal transformation." But to remember what we have before us is the opportunity to make a different decision. And I know, right? Cinderella, right? Yeah, Cinderella. That we can sometimes feel like the ugly stepsister, but also what we need to remember is that we do have the princess or the queen inside of us ready to come out and shine. And so to remember that what we have within us, just as Dorothy was told all the time, is the power. The power is always there. It's that animated principle of being. All that's required of us is to click our heels. Is that literal? It's up to you. Might be hard if you're in flip-flops, but it's more about metaphorical. Clicking our heels means to stop, to think, to engage in the power, to be open, to be willing, and most importantly, to be ready. I love to use the work of Dr. David Hawkins and his map of consciousness as a template of how we have an opportunity to think. At the lowest level of the map of consciousness is contracted and destructive energy of living in struggle and suffering, where our thought processes are guided and predominated by pride and anger and desire and fear and grief and apathy. But then as one becomes more enlightened and has spiritual awakenings and becomes personally self-empowered, you have the opportunity to begin to develop a consciousness of courage and neutrality and willingness and acceptance. Courage in this place is the willingness, if you will, to think anew, to live from the heart, to let love be the guide, and then from there pull up into a consciousness as we have those continued spiritual awakenings, as we have greater senses of personal self-empowerment, to move up in these transformational ways of being, of willingness and acceptance, ultimately ending in a state of consciousnesses of peace and joy and love, which is all creative and expansive energy, ultimately taking us to a state of enlightenment. And the thing that I think so many people desire is thinking you're going to get to a state of enlightenment and you're going to stay there. And the truth is you probably are, until you watch CNN. You probably are until something dings on your phone, or until you cut yourself and you bleed. And then you're going to drop back down into WTF, right? But the thing that's important to remember in that context is not that that's the journey, but what consciousness have we developed as a foundation of mind to take us back to when we engage in the next step along the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. What's really called to us, no matter what's going on in life, is to have the willingness and the intention to tune to a fine-tuning of our consciousness. Anyone in the room remember AM, FM radios? I love this graphic because it really shows us about that. The key is you turn it on, play with the dial, till you find the frequency that brings you joy and happiness. As I said in the first service, that in our day and age may have been Stevie Nicks, right? May have been Mick Jagger, may have been fill in the blank. But what I know, and I know for you, is that whatever name I was about to throw out there, if it felt right to you, it feels right. And that's the same in relation to tuning in to peace and power and beauty and joy and love and all of the others. Today is the day that we each have the opportunity before us to make a decision, to whether we're going to stay in the moment or not. Eckhart Tolle tells us in the Power of Now journal, the truth is that the only power there is contained within the moment. It's the power of your presence. But most humans are never fully present in the now because unconsciously they believe that the next moment must be more important than this one. But then you miss your whole life, which is never not now. And that's the revelation, that it's never not now. And so I invite you to take in a breath now. To take in all that I've thrown at you today. I know I throw a lot at you. Today I not only throw a lot at you energetically and verbally, but I threw a lot at you visually too. But that's all done with purpose. It's to make you think. I've had people say to me before, you make my brain hurt. And you know what I say to them? You're welcome. Otherwise, how do we grow? We want something new, right? Well, you're getting it today. It's all about tending to our spiritual health. Spiritual health is the path to inner peace. My acronym for peace is Purposeful Energy Activates Conscious Evolution. Peace is not sitting back solely and going, oh. It's about awakening to an expansive idea of how one can express their divinity. It's about tuning into a frequency that allows us to ascend to a higher consciousness. Dr. Maureen and I have had numerous conversations as to whether or not there is such thing as higher consciousness vibrationally. And I always say to her, yes and no, right? No, because there is no such thing as higher or lower. In the context of consciousness, consciousness just simply is. But for the practical application of our understanding it and looking at it like a radio dial, yes, there is. What matters is, what does it mean to you? And are you willing today to know that the minute you tune in to that which brings you peace and power and beauty, joy and light and life and love and wisdom, that's also what's seeking you. And so today can be the day that we all remember that as we step into the unknown, and that is exactly the next step, and the next, and the next, no matter how close to the edge we get, and no matter whether it's leading and even sometimes bleeding, it's important to remember that we can discover that we can be fragile and strong and terrified and brave all at the same time. I love this graphic on the screen, especially the right side, because it's a photograph of a literal stained glass window with the Science of Mind symbol in it. And what it reminds, yeah, right? Take it in, photograph it. I'll pose. But what's important to remember is the nature of that symbol and what it means, and what it reminds us is that it all begins in conscious thought. It's making the choice as to who we want and know ourselves to be. And then that is imprinted on subconscious mind, which we have very little impact over, and it exists. And then that moves through the creative process and the law of life and shows us an experience in life of what's going on. We've often been told, if you don't like what's going on in your life, change your thinking. Really easy to say that, sometimes harder to do it. But there's still that within each and every one of us that responds to us changing our thinking and knowing who we are. And should that be so difficult we can't do it our own, or just because we want a different perspective, reach out to a practitioner. They were identified earlier. That is how growth will happen. But remember, the most important thing is to be gentle with yourself and to make a decision, no matter how wild it may feel, is that today is the day to grow. And that transformations are a way of life. And ultimately, yes, the objective is to be the butterfly, but you can only get there if you were the caterpillar. You're perfect just as you are. And so it is. Thank you.
Nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing this song. It's nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, never saw the days hurrying by. When you're in love, oh how they fly. The blue days, all of them gone, with nothing but blue skies from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, never saw the days hurrying by. But when you're in love, oh how they fly. Those blue days, all of them gone. I got nothing but blue skies, nothing but blue skies, nothing but blue skies from now on.
Jason and the Jets. I love it. You know, Jason shared with me these beloved two younger gentlemen had not played. In fact, there's a trio you guys had never played together until this morning, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Stand up and take your accolades. Let us love on you for a moment. Both of you, yeah.
That's Noah on the drums and Spencer on saxophone.
Noah and Spencer. And you're doing this without music? Are you not reading music during this? No, yeah. That would be, for all of you, that should be a spiritual awakening, by the way, right? Go, dude, go. All right. So now is the time for us to support our community financially. And Chloe's coming forward with the basket. And this community is on a journey of revealing its next expression of leadership in the form of ministry. And so I invite each and every one of you, whether you're online or in person, to support this community as it grows. It's a sign of your faith and understanding, not only in yourself, but that you believe in what's unfolding here. When I say believe, I'm not saying your approval is necessary. I'm saying you believe in it in the sense that you understand that this is a magnet for good. And so the expansiveness and support financially here shows that to whoever's out there in form that's being drawn to be your spiritual leader. And so it's up to you. Really, it's up to you. And I affirm for every one of us here that we step up to the plate, so to speak. And for those of you that are online from CSL LA, your financial support to us and others is greatly appreciated as well. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels good to you. And when you're ready to open them and come up and put your good in the basket or do it online through the website, just let's know together that good is. Good is. My teacher, Dr. Walker, used to say, one cannot give with a clenched fist. He was saying that not just to inform us to open our hand to do that, but as we open our hand, it's a gateway to the pulsation of our heart, that animated principle of being that leads up to the heart. The heart is the symbol of love, and when one chooses to give from love, that takes courage. And so I know for this community, courage is present. And so if you'd like to come up and support us as Jason and the gents take us along in song, feel free to sing along in
Spirit
their
gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
Thank you all for being here today. Just a huge thank you for your presence, for your energy, for your openness, for your willingness, and for what you're taking away. I'm not saying that egoically, I'm saying what you've absorbed energetically, knowing that spiritual awakenings is happening for each and every one of us. And the key is to stay in that vibration and take it with you and share it when you get out there. As you saw at the beginning of this service, I was still a little animated, not a little, I was a lot animated from the previous service. So take that and share it and give it. A huge thank you to Noah Spencer and to Jason Goldstein.
Thank you.
So thank you. And please make sure that you let our community, this one here and mine, know that after you have your first recording session as Jason and the gents, all right, so we can buy that online, right? And are there any children that come forward?
If you hit the buzzer on the lectern in the backside, of the top of the lectern. Oh, here they
How about we do this? I just hit the buzzer. What the hell is there a buzzer?
No, it's right on the front of the top.
It's okay. I buzzed.
We put this on her just to protect, my son got this from India for me. I didn't know what to do with it. So we used it as a paint jacket. And then I'll show you what she worked on today.
Fabulous. What's your name?
My name's Elle.
What is it?
Elle.
Hi, Elle.
You want to show them what she did?
Aw.
It's wet still. So it's a happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
And we worked on pantomime today. We worked on lots of different things. We had a really good time. Yeah.
I love it. Great. Thank you. So speaking of pantomime, Reverend Nancy said earlier, talking about loving yourselves, and we'll close out with one of the great spiritual teachers ever, RuPaul, and he says to us, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? So and then he would go on to say, can I get an amen? So amen. That's right. So would you like to pray us out? Would you like for me to?
Yes.
You're coming? Okay.
Isn't he wonderful? I just love him. Thank you. Oh, thank y'all for being here. And thank you for being my community. And I love my friends. And we are very grateful to know and to understand that our community is a place of love. And as we go forth from this awesome message, we are quite willing to stand on that edge. We're quite willing to allow our minds and our hearts to be open and receptive to the newness of being. And as we embody this message, we know and understand that that which is within must be that which comes out. So we embrace the understanding that we are the love of the universe, blossoming in a greater and greater way. The joy of being a loving, divine family is yet again letting itself be revealed. So as we go forth with a skip in our step, because we know the newness of being is inviting us to open up and live on this edge with all the joy and the beauty of life itself. There's tremendous love. And we truly are willing to give it, to be it, and to express it. So with a grateful heart, I welcome each one of you to know these things with us, to embrace it as we say together. And so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. This is where we stand in a circle. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as a power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let